Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today we are reviewing Haunt Volume 5 from Image Comics. It's part of the Spawn universe, and the last volume of Haunt, thankfully. I have reviewed the other 4 volumes. Volumes 1 through 3, were Robert Kirkman and other members of the Invincible team. The first 3 volumes of Haunt are awesome. I highly recommend them. Kirkman and Todd McFarlane created this Venom-esque character. Todd McFarlane, of course, Spawn is based on Venom because Venom was McFarlane's baby. He co-created Venom. And this is also another character based off Venom because McFarlane's not allowed to write Venom anymore. Marvel took him. But this book, volumes 4 and 5, are by Joe Casey and Nathan Fox. And they're bad. They're really bad. They're terrible. I'm sorry, they just are. There is no read-up at the back of the book. I'm serious. There's no back of the book read-up. And let's just continue on, shall we? So, Haunt Volume 5. Yikes. So after this new creative team of Joe Casey and Nathan Fox took up the book, they decided they weren't going to wrap up any plot lines from the Kirkman run. They decided to get rid of almost all the interesting characters. Pretty much every single side character was pushed out. They completely undid all of the character development of the two brothers. They decided they didn't want women in the book. What? All the female characters especially. One of them shoved right in the refrigerator at the very beginning of the last volume. Everything interesting from the Kirkman run completely axed. Completely axed. It's just so much less interesting. And the art, there are some pages, or I should say some panels, where it's kind of hard to tell what's going on art-wise, and we kind of do get a bit of a return of our assassin in this book. Some characters are brought back in this volume, which is good, but still, there are a lot of panels where it's like, what am I looking at? It's a little difficult, and we get these kind of religious-y Warhammer-esque zealots, that create all these giant bugs, and I'm just not interested in these kind of hellfire evil cult villains. I was much more interested in the villains from the Kirkman run. Right? This run was like, let's just shove people in the refrigerator. And I guess this volume is kind of better than 4. But I just don't like it, man. I just don't like it. The Ghost Brother has not just been undeveloped, but pushed back to even worse than he was. He's like antagonistic and wants to murder and doesn't care about saving people, and it's just really short, and it doesn't even try to wrap up anything from the Kirkman run. And they give Haunt this new form that like amounts to nothing, and this big monster comes up out of the street, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And even then, I think they knew that people weren't responding well to this, because at the very end of the book, the last thing you see on the last page is to be continued in the pages of Spawn. So the story of Haunt isn't even going to be wrapped up in Haunt's own book. They canceled the Haunt book and shoved the events into Spawn because it was bad. These last 2 volumes of Haunt were terrible. Just awful. The art's good sometimes, but not good other times. It's not clear enough. The writing is lazy. why didn't you even try to wrap up Kirkman's plots? It's like, oh man, the writers were like, oh man, this isn't one of my characters. I don't know how to write them. I'll just get rid of them. Or I'll just make them someone completely different. I'll completely undevelop the brothers. It's really dumb. It's just bad writing. It's incompetence. It's like when J.J. Abrams came back after The Last Jedi, and he was like, oh, I'm not going to do anything with Rose because that's not my character. I don't know what to do with her. Like, but what? No. Comic writers do it all the time. They use previous writers' characters all the time. That's a very normal, especially in DC and Marvel. And the Spawn universe and Magnolaverse, it's pretty common in those too. Joe Casey, why couldn't you just learn what these characters are about, even consult Kirkman, which you might have even done and still failed? It's just bad. The characters that are still here aren't the same as they were in the other books. And they got rid of all the good characters anyway. And there's like this hippie dude who helps souls move on and sends haunts back to the afterlife, and it's just, what's the point? There's no point to these last 2 volumes. If you want to read Haunt, that's cool. Read the first 3 volumes and stop. Volumes 4 and 5 will be a waste of your time, money, and sanity. But that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.